Hey guys, Andy here from Mediocre Hobbies, bringing you the first video in an entirely new playlist, and that is of course the beautiful new Leagues of Votann army. Games Workshop very kindly sent me out a copy of the new League of Votann army box for my review, and I'm going to of course share that entire journey with you guys here on the channel. I am going to be starting off with a Kâhl, as I'm going to be doing an army up in the Ymyr Conglomerate color scheme. So that's the beautiful red armor with the smoky kind of gray blue color scheme. I'm going to be showing you guys how to achieve this using contrast paint and a couple of easy layers to make you able to get your Ymyr Conglomerate on the table quickly and efficiently. You will of course learn a lot about League of Votann throughout these videos. I will be doing a video on all the major parts of this box set. Therefore, there will be 4 videos just on painting, one for the basic infantry, one for those cool bikers, and 2 videos on the characters, the champion, and of course the Kâhl that I'm going to be painting in today's video. Just want to say a big thank you to all of my current Patreon pledgers. It means a lot to me that you guys have supported me this far, and of course it helps me make these videos and helps keep the lights on and all that other bits and pieces. So thank you guys so much for that. If anyone out there is looking to join my Patreon campaign and get access to a bunch of really cool rewards, the links to that are below in the comments. Thank you guys so much, and let's get into the video. I have been anxiously waiting to get my hands on the new League of Votann miniatures, and the day is finally here. So it's time to paint up my first ever League of Votann miniature, and of course I'm going to go for the Kâhl because he's an absolutely amazing miniature. I'm going to be painting him up in the Ymyr Conglomerate scheme, so that is the kind of grey blue cloth with the red armor. So I'm going to start by using Space Wolves Grey and applying that all over the fabric of this miniature. Now because this is a Kâhl, he's obviously quite well armored. He's got very nice ornate equipment, so there's not a lot of cloth showing on this guy. When we do the normal infantry models in the next video, I'm sure the grey will show up a lot more and be a lot more prevalent in the color scheme. But in this one, it's just a few bits that you can spot through armor joints and the like. So take your time, make sure you find them all. I nearly missed the one next to his stomach, basically to the left of his armor plate there in his stomach, but I managed to catch it in the end. Blood Angels Red was the contrast of choice that I used to block in all of the red parts on this miniature. And I really got to get a feel of what the Ymyr Conglomerate was going to look like. A tip that I used for this one is that red is actually a fantastic base coat for doing gold. So whilst I was applying the red on all of the armor panels for that needed to be red, I also applied it on everywhere that was going to be gold. And it did work out a treat later on. Meant the gold went on nice and smooth, nice and vibrant, and had a really nice warmth to it. There's a few bits in this model you do not want to hit, obviously all of those grey parts. And it was quite a busy model. Busy in a good way, it does look fantastic, but obviously I had to look at the images through the codex a lot to try and see what was what and where certain things ended and what began and where the gold was and stuff. But once you had all the base coats blocked in on this model, the painting became a lot easier. So like I said, I just soldiered through with the Blood Angels Red contrast and made sure that I got all of the power armor on this guy redded up. It went on super smooth. Anyone that's afraid to use contrast on big armored panels, you just got to take your time, load a lot of paint onto the brush, apply it to the power armor, and then scrape off any excess bits. And with that, that is the first coat of red applied to all the power armor on this miniature. I then moved over to Black Templar, and there's a few bits and pieces in this miniature that are going to go black. There's some piping. His entire robe and cape and stuff is black on the Ymyr Conglomerate, so I need to remember that when I'm doing all the other miniatures that have any sort of kind of capes or stuff like that. They are going to be Black Templar. And then parts of his boots are also Black Templar. He's got these like ankle guard things that are actually a brown leathery color, but the main portion of the boot, his moon boots, is in Black Templar. So I just took my time, once again, going around, being super careful not to hit any of the red with the black. If you do, it's not the end of the world. We're going to be layering up the red armor later on anyway, so it's not the biggest deal. Wildwood was used for those kind of ankle guards that I was talking about in the miniature. Just a quick and easy step. And then I did a quick run of the Wildwood across his waist, because he does have like almost like a leather belt, but it's got a lot of gold filigree and stuff in it. So you just got to take your time. And like I said, maybe grab some images from the codexes or from the 360 on the website. By the time you guys have your hands on these miniatures, the 360s will be on the website. So you can obviously do a spin around and find all the different parts. Okay, with all of the brown and black locked in, it's time to move over to the gold. This stage, of course, by far took the longest. He does have a lot of gold filigree, a lot of gold trim, a lot of bits and pieces on this miniature. Of course, being a Kâhl, he is a boss. You need to denote his rank somehow, and with dwarven culture, it's usually by wealth. So, of course, he's going to show off his wealth with all of his bling. So, just follow the miniature around, all the little runic designs built into his armor. His entire head is, in fact, going to be a golden mask. Little studs on the back of his energy fist. Hilt of the dagger at his hip and the pommel of it, all those bits and pieces are going to go gold. There's some of the detail on his pistol, which is of course going to get golded as well, which I didn't realize until I was once again looking at the reference pictures. And his big banner pole thing, which is actually a war gear. You get a choice of what you want to put on there, and they do very different things. There's a lot of gold on that too. So take your time, be patient, don't hit the red with the gold. When the gold stage was actually done, that's when I really saw what the model was going to become, and I was very excited. Lead Belcher was used to base coat any of the other metallic parts on this miniature. There isn't a lot, to be honest, just some of the parts on the pistol, the grip, the barrel, the energy bit at the back, and then I think there was one or two other tiny parts of the miniature, but nothing crazy. It did not take long to get the silver on as opposed to the gold. Once those bits were all blocked in, it was of course time to shade the miniature. And for shading the miniature, I decided to use Reikland Flesh Shade. Bear with me, some of you might be thinking I'm crazy right now. You're only supposed to use that for skin. No, Reikland Flesh Shade is a really warm, nice, kind of like a brown. It works fantastically over red and fantastically over gold. So it was the absolute perfect choice to do over the Ymyr Conglomerate miniatures. And I will be using the same shade across all of my Conglomerate miniatures as I slowly progress and build and paint an entire Leagues of Votann army. So I'm going to start with that banner pole thing, and you will just see as soon as I start applying it, the difference it does make. It doesn't in any way, shape or form take away from the red or the gold. It just accents it, sits on it beautifully. As soon as I did the first stroke across that bit, I was like, yep, I have made the right choice of shade. I'm going to quickly get the coat of Reikland Flesh across the entire miniature now, every single part of him. And then while I'm here, I'm going to throw a little bit of astrogranite debris across his base. I've decided that for my miniatures, I'm going to go for like a moon/asteroid look to them, as they are miners, salvagers, that kind of thing. And I want to basically play into that idea. If you see the like indents and stuff on the rock he's standing on, it definitely is like craters impact from small asteroids and stuff. I think it is supposed to be moon surface or asteroid surface. So I decided it would be an interesting time to try a new basing scheme I haven't done before. So let's see how it turns out. Look how nice it sits over the gold on his face. I'm sorry I got lost in the painting of this bit and I forgot to tilt it towards the camera a little bit more, but we'll get there. There's the astrogranite debris deployed on the base, and the shade has been dried on the miniature. So now it's time for the first of two highlights we're going to do across the armor. I thought I'd get away with just one by just going for Mephiston Red. It just didn't have the punch that I wanted to, and once again, as I was referencing the color scheme in the codex, they definitely had a little bit more punch than Mephiston Red, so I added a second highlight to the red armor after the Mephiston Red stage, and that definitely brought it to the stage that I was really happy with. So take your time. The armor is segmented in most places, so it's very clear where to put the Mephiston Red and where to leave the shadow and shade. Leave all those deep lines, the dark washed stage, and just slowly highlight the rest of the miniature. This is the stage of painting that I actually quite enjoy. Once the base coats and washes have been applied, I finally get to start actually painting the miniature. Like I said, because the miniature is so sharp, there's so much detail, and it's separated, segmented. It is very simple and quick to actually layer up this miniature. It took more time to apply the base coat of gold than it did to apply both coats of the red Mephiston and the Evil Suns I'm going to be applying in a minute. And obviously this miniature has a lot more red armor than a standard trooper. So there it was with the Mephisto on red. I thought it looked really nice, but it just looked a touch flat. So that's where I brought in the Evil Sun Scarlet and added a lighter layer, not nearly as heavy as the last one. And you can see how quickly that I'm going to be moving around, just hitting the highest points, just to put a little bit more life into the armor and make it pop on the table. This is the stages where you do need to take care because you won't be going over the red again, hopefully, unless you make a mistake. So being careful from here on out will save you time in the future. And here's all of the red done. I think it really pops now. I was quite happy with it. Now it's time to layer up the cloth. So Thunderhawk blue was used. Like I said, it doesn't really show through when painting this miniature because he doesn't have a lot of fabric on show, but most of the other range of miniatures will have a lot more on show, so that Thunderhawk blue will become a much more prevalent color across an army. It's just this guy isn't really showing it off. Once that's all done, it is now time for all of the metallic parts. So we're going to use Iron Breaker, and we're going to use this to layer up all the gold and silver parts on this miniature. You may think I'm crazy, but if you touch highlights on gold with a bright silver, it really does make the gold pop. It gives it that slight antique look, which you can imagine dwarves live for quite a long time, and a lot of their war gear can be ancestral. So he might have had this helmet, for instance, passed down from father to son for hundreds of years. Although it's not really father to son if they're clones, is it? Scratch that. But you know what I mean. This could have been worn for hundreds of years previous to this owner. Just these little touch silver highlights really do make it all pop and give it a nice crispness. So I followed this through and did this across all the gold and metallic parts of the miniature. That includes the silver. I then added a coat of Black Templar to the entire base there. Just once again to darken it down to that moon rock like I wanted to. Corvus Black was used to highlight and layer up all of the black parts of the miniature. So his flowing cape, jacket thing, and then the casing of his pistol. And there's a little bit of pipe work and stuff that needs to be layered up as well, but nothing too crazy. It's another quick and easy step. I like using the Corvus Black because it's got that like touch of grey to it, so it, you know, those capes and stuff don't sit really flat. It does look like a nice highlighted piece, and it makes even the dullest part of the miniature really pop. As you can see, it's another one of those stages that I was enjoying painting because I wasn't focusing on the camera. I added a touch of white to the light in the center of his chest and for both of his eyes, which was another very quick step. This is usually what I do for anything I plan to do with glow effect. I usually just hit it with a nice base coat of a solid white, and then I just throw a nice contrast over the top of it. So for this one, I went back and looked at the reference pictures once again and realized that the Ymyr Conglomerate has lots of like blue glow. So I went for Talazar blue. Just put a quick coat of that across the eyes and the power pack in the center of his chest. With the amount of red, gold, and now blue energy in the center of his chest, I got real Iron Man vibes from this guy. I wasn't upset about this at all. This was awesome to me. With the this kind of bit done here, this pretty much brings the painting of this guy to a close. I used a Dawnstone and Administratum Grey, and I dry brushed both of those across the base just to give it more of that moon texture, rim the base black. And for me, my first League of Votann miniature was finally complete. I'm very pleased with the result. I cannot wait to paint up the rest. I can't wait to share this video and the rest of the playlist with you guys and help you guys get your League of Votann miniatures painted up and on the tabletop soon. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope you look forward to the rest of the League of Votann playlist that will be with you in the coming week. And there we have it, guys. The first video comes to a close. As you can see, I, for my personal army, have chosen the Ymyr Conglomerate. That is a beautiful red armor with the kind of dark smoky grey blue cloth. I obviously started off my army with HQ choice. I always like to start with some sort of character to give me a real feel and sense of what the army is going to look like. So I went for a Kâhl. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you learned a little bit about League of Votann, how to paint them up, and are looking forward to the rest of this series. If you did like the video, make sure you hit the like button. If you have any questions about anything to do with Leagues of Votann or the painting that I did here in this video, make sure you drop it in the comments below and I'll get back to each and every one of you guys. If you're excited for all future League of Votann videos, make sure that you do hit that subscribe button, and maybe if you're feeling extra adventurous, you can hit the bell button as well to be notified of all future uploads on my channel. Thank you guys so much for watching to the end of the video. I'll see you in the next one.